Joining me right now is Josh Lafazan. He is a member of the Nassau County, New York legislature from the 18th district. He is running to represent New York's 3rd congressional district, which is George Santos' seat. Thank you so much for coming on, sir. I want to ask you, would you be in favor of a plea deal here? And that by I mean he doesn't go to prison. He puts it behind him. Long Island puts it behind him. And he moves on. Or do you think it's important that he actually serve time for what, by the way, he allegedly did? He's innocent until proven guilty.
Sure. Well, thank you for having me on the show. The answer is no. My constituents and I do not want George Santos to be offered a plea deal. When you're offered a plea deal under federal indictment, there has to be a public benefit. There is no benefit to the public from letting the most prolific liar in the history of politics get off easy.
The benefit could be he doesn't serve anymore. He's gone. He's out of the public conversation.
But I think it speaks more about democracy, that no one is above the law, and that, again, the LeBron James of lying, right? First ballot Hall of Famer, George Santos, should be held to the fullest account for what he's done. And I would be okay with the plea deal if this was a victimless crime. But it's not a victimless crime. There are real people, real victims. He should be held to the fullest account. We won't accept anything less.
Let me just play something for you.
Yeah.
So this is number one. This is when Santos professed his innocence to Dan in the interview. Let's play that real quick.
I've never taken a dollar from anybody that wasn't legitimate, that wasn't for the intent of running the campaign, right?
No personal expenses.
No, I won. No, absolutely not. And I've been able to...
No designer clothes?
I've been able to dispel this. I did not take money from my campaign for personal use.
That's him saying it'll be interesting if he can, prove it in a court of law. I guess the question is, if prosecutors had an ironclad deal, you wouldn't accept it because let's say it saves the taxpayers the time, the expense of a trial, the prosecutor's expense of a trial. No trial, accepts a deal, washes his hands. There's no way you would accept it?
No, I would not. As a legislator who represents tens of thousands of people in this district, I speak categorically when I say that George Santos shouldn't get one less day of prison for his sentence. This is the United States. We're the beacon of democracy for the free world. And this is somebody with a 7% approval rating, right? This is somebody who rates less than going to the DMV or getting a root canal.
According to him in his internal polling, as he said to Dan, he actually thinks he has a chance to win. What did you make of that?
I think not one...
Reelected.
Not one sentient person of good conscience would vote for George Santos. Again, he makes Anna Delvey look like Honest Abe Lincoln, right? This is not somebody who merits seriousness. If you watch Succession, he's not a serious person. And at the end of the day, he can run. He will lose. But most importantly to me, as a citizen, as a legislator, he should be held to the fullest account of the law.
There's going to be a lot of Republicans trying to take that seat.
Sure.
Do you think any of them should be held responsible for what happened to Santos? Because you could also say Democrats should have done their homework and made sure he didn't,
I think George Santos is an unfortunate teaching moment. And I talk to my interns. I say after George Santos, no one should go to the ballot box without doing a full vetting of candidates on the right and on the left. And I got elected when I was 18 years old. I got elected to my school board of education. 11 years in politics, I've held myself to a certain standard, and it's unfortunate that some politicians don't. And the public will start holding these people to account. We are exhausted by the freak show that is the George Santos experience. We're never going to let it happen again.
I did say he is one of the rare bipartisan issues that both sides can seem to come along with and say, this wasn't right. Well, yeah. Josh Lafazan, thank you so much, sir. Appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.